Steve Bridges sat in the uncomfortable plastic chair as he regarded the older man sitting across from him. The dim, small interview room was designed to intimidate and make the interviewee feel claustrophobic. Teams of CIA psychologists had worked for years to develop such tactics. Every detail of the room was designed to irritate and unsettle. Everything from the rubber floor that slightly stuck to the soles of your shoes to the firm creaking chair. The man in front of him flicked through some papers in a manila folder. Steve had been doing this kind of thing long enough to know the man was doing it all for his benefit. A show of power, making it clear that Steve was under his control and it would be his will that would decide the outcome of their interview. "Steve J. Bridges," said the interviewer, looking up from the papers. "You've been with the SEALs now for nearly 6 years." "Yes, sir. It says here that during selection you were dropped in your underwear in the middle of the desert while military drills were underway. Your task was to procure clothing, supplies, weapons, and transport while avoiding detection." "Yes, sir. You chose to engage a group of soldiers, proceeding to bind and gag them one by one, procuring clothing and weapons. It seems you beat one man so badly that he was required to be admitted to hospital. He put up a fight. The guy heard me coming and we got into a bit of a wrestling match. Unfortunately, I had to use the appropriate amount of violence to subdue him." The interviewer stared at Steve, unsure of what to make of the Special Forces soldier. "You then managed to steal a vehicle which you proceeded to drive into the barracks, knocking down part of a wall and damaging the front doors. Can you explain your actions?" "My orders were to view anyone on maneuvers as enemy combatants, including anyone in the barracks, while my mission would come to an end when I was able to enter the mess hall. The barracks themselves were to be considered an enemy HQ. I decided to attack the enemy head-on. The entire mission was to show what I was capable of, so I decided to make a point. I was also kind of pissed about being bundled out of bed and dropped into the middle of nowhere at 3 a.m. The interviewer slowly nodded his head. "I'll be honest with you, Bridges, you're a wild card. Normally I wouldn't have anyone with your record involved in any of my operations. But when we were looking to find Tier 1 operators for the organization, your name came up again and again. Recommendations from people I trust and have served with spoke very highly of you." Steve decided to call the interviewer's bluff. "I completely understand, sir," replied Steve as he got to his feet. "All right, sit down." The Navy SEAL fell back into his chair with an audible sigh. "Let me make you a proposition first, then you can decide if you still want to walk. You understand that everything we say here today is strictly confidential?" "Yes, sir." The CIA was put under review last year. A series of significant failures have meant the department has lost a lot of credibility both at home and abroad. The findings of the review revealed that the service was simply too slow to respond to important intelligence. The reasons often being due to legal and political ramifications of U.S. agents taking action on foreign soil. To fix this problem, it was decided that a black intelligence group should be created. While technically operating within the CIA, we would legally not exist. We have no official funding and no agents. There would be nothing to deny, no men to be identified. Our mission would be to act on critical intelligence and to strike at short notice. We would be relied upon to remove bad actors and gather intelligence. The new division will be used sparingly as a last resort. But when put into action, we will have to hit hard and fast. What I'm offering you is a 5-year contract. If you complete your service, you will be discharged and receive a 6-figure sum paid into a Swiss bank account. You will be given a new identity and allowed to disappear and enjoy a wealthy retirement. Steve looked down at the figure on the piece of paper. For the first time since sitting down, the CIA director had managed to get Steve's full attention. "So what's the catch?" The interviewer ran a hand down his blue tie. "First of all, you will be legally dead. From your records, both your parents are dead, no siblings or close family. Steve Bridges will go down as having lost his life in service to his country. Secondly, your chances of surviving the work we have planned for you will be a challenge. If you make it to the full 5 years, the money you are paid will be well earned. And if I say yes, who would I be answering to? Who's running this Black Ops group? I will be operating as the group's director. My name is Paul Anderson. I am a Delta Force veteran with decades of experience of working within the CIA. I answer to only 2 men, the director of the CIA and the president. Normally I'd give you some time to think things over, but we have limited time to act on your first mission. I will have to ask for your answer now. Are you in or out?" Steve stared down at the contract sitting in front of him. He wondered what kind of a madman would literally sign his life away for money. The reason Steve had joined the SEALs was to push himself to be the best. He wanted to serve his country. But the mess the US had made in Afghanistan and Iraq had left him wondering what good they had achieved. He and other team members had often found themselves frustrated at the lack of political will back home when it came to taking action on known intel. Here Steve was being given a backstage pass to a US Black Operations group whose sole mission was to cut through the red tape and take out America's enemies. He would be sacrificing his former life for his country. Steve stared at the piece of paper in front of him, knowing that if he said no that he would regret it for the rest of his life. He took a deep breath as he met the gaze of Agent Anderson. "Okay, I'm in."